Hi everybody, I'm Sean Maxwell. You don't know me yet, you will. I'm running for District 6 here on the west side. Yeah, thanks. I know, it's better to have two choices than the one.
One choice is no choice at all.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm really here to support Joy. We've barely started to get to know each other. As someone who we've gone to many forums, sat Zoom in person, down in Castroville, around, getting to hear her speak and speak from her heart, which is what we need right now, it's invigorating to have someone that you feel on the same team with. So definitely want to thank you for stepping up, because as I know now, I'm just dealing with 1/6 of what you're dealing with, which is amazing. Yeah, so a little bit about me real quick. I'll make it quick. I'm a father. I rent one block away from here. I've been at that house for 8 years. I have a great relationship with my landlords, who decided to not charge the most amount of rent they could, which allows me to be here right now. So I want to give thanks to those guys, because there's not a lot of them, and we need more people like that.
Yeah.
So I'm also an active planning commissioner right now. 2 years now I've been on the planning commission, trying to wrestle with the city staff on an appropriate amount of development, which I don't know what they think is appropriate, but if you see that big white thing that's twice as big as all the other buildings on that map over there, that's what they think is appropriate. We need housing, but we need responsible development. What's been going on in the council right now is they just say whatever the staff wants, they rubber stamp, and without an argument. We've been arguing on the commission for a while. We send our recommendations to the city council and they ignore them. That's why I'm running, because my vote, I do that for free, you know, and then to feel ignored for free when I care, that doesn't feel good to me. So that's why I'm running. Appreciate your support. Thanks to everyone for being here. Joy, you rock.
You rock too, Sean.
Yeah.
Sean, can you see the parameters of the district? What is it?
Yeah, District 6. And so let me. So you go up Columbia, then you cut across the circles, halfway through the circles, up Young Love, across over Mission to Western, all the way up Western to Family Student Housing. You have to look at it 50 times to really understand where your district is.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys.
Sean,
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Thanks for coming. Yeah, let me stand up.
Thanks.
Thank you. By being here, you're not only supporting Joy, you're supporting Sean, you're supporting the measures that are on the ballot, because when you get on the city council, Joy's going to be leading a team of council members, and one of them is going to be Sean. So you just got to know your next council member for this district. Next, I want to introduce someone I met recently through Joy and her amazing work, and this person inspired me because of transportation and how sometimes communities don't have access to equitable transportation. And she's here today to speak to you about what she's doing and how we're supporting Joy. And her name is Lonnie. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hello. For those of you who don't know, my name's Lonnie Faulkner, and I founded an organization called Equity Transit, bringing awareness about the transit, the power of transportation, and in particular public transportation, to even the playing field for equity across our communities. Just a lot of people don't realize that in the 1940s and 50s, people primarily got to where they needed to go by public transportation, buses, trolleys, and trains. As the fossil fuel, the tire, asphalt, trucking, and the automobile industries, basically what I call steamrolled their plans, which is we're going to put big highways and ever widening freeways through all these towns, and oftentimes they were through the backyards of black and brown backyards and bedrooms. What that did, if you can imagine a time when the primary way to get to work was on public transportation, suddenly only those people that had the money to get to work or the better jobs or an education could afford to do so. So after 100 years of civil rights action, basically you think about Rosa Parks, we all know who Rosa Parks is, this 100 years of efforts by the civil rights movement to ensure access to public transportation, within a decade, all of that work was completely decimated. So I say that this 1940s and 1950s movement of ever-widening highways and the destruction of public transportation literally systematized racism and classism across our country. You see it, we talk about, oh, in Georgia, people can't vote because they can't get to the polls. Well, this happens right here, right today, in Watsonville, and even in our communities where students can't get from one part of town to the other to work, or people as well. So how does that relate to joy? The thing that many of us who are Democratic Socialists, Santa Cruz for Bernie, all of these organizations, that we have to stop and realize that our country from the core was built on this premise of the haves and the have-nots, and we're going to structure the haves to continue to have more, and the have-nots to continue to stay penned up where they belong, right? So at one point in time, that was the landowners. We saw some movement in the right direction toward the 60s and 70s in terms of equity and equality. But what I think many of us are seeing since that time, you look back, someone who was a janitor, someone who was a mechanic, somebody who was a school teacher or a fire department, working for the fire department, could actually afford on their salary to buy a home, to have a family, and oh my gosh, even to not have to have both people in the household work. I can't even imagine that today, where we have people struggling with 2 and 3 jobs. And what we really need today is people running the government. We will not be a government by and for the people unless each of us step up and take that effort and run our government. And Joy is taking that step to be a part of that, the voice. So what Joy is doing is she's listening, and listening is really key. Listening, and how I met Joy, I was watching her on the meetings, and then we met in person. And I was kind of afraid on our first meeting because I had a position about, in particular, it was Measure O, and yes, I Measure O, and I was really concerned because a lot of people come from this perspective of, well, affordable housing, of course we're going to vote for affordable housing, why wouldn't we? And especially for someone like, an organization like Equity Transit and myself, affordable housing is so critical. We need a lot of it. We need more of it. We need it to be built densely along transit centers. We really need more of that. But we also need to be really thoughtful about how that's developed. So as we build dense centers, we also need gathering places where people are not isolated and that they can come together. And so when I met with Joy for the first time, I really realized that she and I kind of shared this vision of community and the ability for people to come together in community and to be represented. So there's a lot of things here that it's listening. Listening is key. Even listening to people you don't agree with, right? Taking the time to sit down with the people you don't agree with to hear what their concerns are. And how do we have a win-win? How do we create the win-win, right? How do we also make sure that we benefit the voiceless in our communities? And that, I hear, is a huge part of Joy's campaign, being a voice for the voiceless. And I resonate with that because Equity Transit was built on being a voice for the voiceless. Joy comes with tremendous compassion and her work and her heart for supporting the people that are right now voiceless, like our homeless community, which is so huge. And I say that our laborers are the glue that keep our communities together.
Yeah.
Without our
Yes.
labor, we will fall apart.
Yeah.
And it's hard to see that, but like drive over the hill and you have all the money you want and you can just buy what you want, and you're not seeing, some people in our community don't see the struggle, the ongoing struggle of people that are driving 2 to 4 hours a day to come here, to be nurses in our hospitals, to be teachers in our community, to pick up our garbage, to be our policemen. We need the policemen who live and work here because then they care about being here.
Yeah.
So I really trust that Joy is going to bring forward policies. It's really about re-envisioning, right? We get stuck in a rut about, oh, well, this is how we've always done it, so this is how we do it. But I really think that Joy's going to bring a new vision. We can talk about new solutions and new ways that will allow us to restructure things that, quite frankly, need to be restructured, like maybe from the ground up. So I really appreciate Joy taking that on, because we need people like you, people like Joy, scientists, computer programmers, just everyday teachers, people to take these roles, and that's what Joy is stepping up to do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joy.
Yeah. Thank you, Lonnie.
Wow, that was incredible, and that's why I was inspired when I met Lonnie. And just learning more about the work and the way she accomplishes the work and inspires me because it's people that I'm meeting through Joy. It's the team that Joy is going to bring as the next mayor of Santa Cruz. I want to take 2 minutes before I introduce Joy, because I forgot I didn't introduce myself. My name is, my official name is Tatuani Quetzalcoatl Chipatli, except I just go by Alfredo, it's easier. And I met Joy through Hector, who's running for city council down in District 4, and has all the labor endorsement, almost got the Central Democratic Party endorsement by a vote. And that's politics, right? And I love Joy because she's not playing politics. She has seen the houseless and sees students. I'm a student at UC Santa Cruz. And last April, I got elected student body president of the whole university. And I realized what's going on in my community in Los Angeles is going down here, where USC is literally making South Central Los Angeles unaffordable. It's already a lot of traffic. Imagine USC expanding to, it's what UCSC is looking to do to this community irresponsibly, without community input. And we have to make sure that when people come together, it is responsibly, it is respectful, and we take care of the home that is welcoming us. And I met Joy, and I realized she is the right person to get the community and the students, the activists, the non-activists, even the politicians, because Joy has built that respect. For 20 years, she hasn't only been a mother, which already is a full-time job. She's also volunteered for her community. For the first time ever in Santa Cruz, we're gonna have a chance to elect a mayor, directly elected by the people. But we can't do it, students can't do it alone. The community, because we have students for the past 40 years, we have to come together, and that's what Joy has brought together. So we are here because we need resources. We need flyers to get the students to pass out. We need, we have some yard signs. We need yard signs. We need
a mailer.
Food, a mailer, right? Because folks that want to transform rapidly and responsibly, like you said, don't live in this community. Some of them are foreign investors in Los Angeles. A council member went to prison because of some illicit donations from foreign investors. And I don't want to see Santa Cruz go that route. When we have irresponsible development, no equitable transit, and just profits that just decimates our environment. So I encourage you before you leave, Please pick up an envelope. The maximum contribution is $400. This literally for a grassroots campaign reaches thousands of people. We're not talking to developers. We're not talking to billionaires. We're talking to the community. We're talking to students. So please, if it's in your heart, please donate, contribute. Joy has been putting a lot of labor in this campaign, personally. But before I end, I want to say one last thing. We can't keep it here, right? When you go home, please tell your neighbors, sign up to volunteer, and let's get the next mayor of Santa Cruz elected. And before I go, when I say joy, you say for Santa Cruz. Joy.
For Santa Cruz.
Joy.
For Santa Cruz.
Yes, please welcome the next mayor of Santa Cruz.
Hi, everybody. One of the first questions that I'm always asked is, aside from what are your top 3 issues and why are you running for mayor? Are you insane? Is, what's your experience? What qualifies you to be elected into a position in electoral politics? And, valid question, but, care work is valid experience for being a leader in the community. I've been a leader in the community in that care work for my family, but also as a community organizer through waste reduction programs, community gardens, and in the last few years, getting to know people who live outside in Santa Cruz, which, we all know that that's a significant issue, and they care for each other, and we as community members also do what we can to care for them. So I sort of indignantly say, well, of course I'm qualified. I've been doing leadership work for 20 years, and I've been doing care work for 18 years, and I really think of electoral politics as care work. That's how it should be. When our city passes ordinances that criminalize people who live outside or live in their vehicles, oversized vehicles, people who are economic refugees, really. That's why people don't have housing. It's because of economics and the system that we have that financializes what should be a human right. Those ordinances cause immense harm to people, up to and including death. And that's not an exaggeration. It sounds awful, but it truly does happen. And my care work in the community, doing mutual aid and getting to know people, really that's what inspires me to go into the chambers, to bring that collective care and mutual aid into electoral politics, because that's how it should be. That's what we should be doing when we're leaders in the community. So that was actually not my actual speech. As an introduction to my speech, I want to read a quote by Rebecca Solnit in her fabulous book, Hope in the Dark. Hope is not a lottery ticket you can sit on the sofa and clutch, feeling lucky. It is an axe you break down doors with in an emergency. Hope should shove you out the door because it will take everything you have to steer the future away from endless war, from the annihilation of the earth's treasures, and the grinding down of the poor and marginal. To hope is to give yourself to the future, and that commitment to the future is what makes the present inhabitable. And I know all of you here are also care workers in the community. Activism is community care. Advocacy is community care. Mutual aid, electoral politics, caring for our family and friends, caring for the people that we know, neighbors who need a meal or need a conversation. And so I know you all know what I'm talking about when I talk about collective care. And I know you all know, I bet that you all feel the same thing, that we
we keep going because we're in the fight together. We give each other hope. I know that I take a lot of solace and get a lot of hope from working with many of you. Those of you who I haven't worked with, I look forward to working with you more in the future. So the problem phase of the speech. So we know also what we have problems with, right? We have problems with labor, where the workers that are caring for our community, who are providing us with clean water, with our waste management and sanitation services, who keep things clean, this is feminized labor. This is real working class boots on the ground labor. These are the people that are paid the least, that are overworked the most, that are understaffed, that are under-resourced, and that are not getting a good contract from the city right now. We need to value those workers. We know that our environment is undervalued right now. We pay lip service to the value of our environment, but then, then there's efforts to take away the rail tracks or to widen the highway so that more cars can be on the road, or to build a parking garage when we don't need it, or to build a 17-story building that's 90% market rate instead of an 8-story building that's 50% market rate. So we know that gentrification is a problem, environmental degradation, labor is a problem. We know that our schools need more investment. You all know, I could go on. You can probably tell me mental health services. There's a crisis of mental health services in our community for all people. And these are problems that it's not just about people who are unhoused or precariously housed. This is for people who are working class and middle class. Even upper middle class people sometimes don't have access to life-saving care that they need. So there's a lot of equity issues just all around. And I think the solutions come from us. And what I would like, my vision is to have governance from below. We all work in the community. We all talk to people. We all know what we need and what our friends and neighbors need. We know, and we have so many ideas for solutions. We read, we talk to people, we get out there and experiment with things. So that's where our governance needs to be coming from us, from the people, to protect ourselves and to take care of each other. And, for whatever the solutions are to our climate crisis or our economic crises, those solutions are going to be collective and community-based and community-led, because our individual solutions aren't going to fix it. And we all know that. And, big business will try to tell us that we just need to eat a vegan diet or shop differently or, do this or that small thing. But really, that's all great. My dress is organic and fair trade. But what it's going to take is a community-wide, microgrids and public transportation that brings equity to all people, designing our cities for people with disabilities so that can benefit all of us. All of those things it's going to help all of us. And I'm really grateful to be in this with all of you and, as a leader, but really as a co-leader. Because it's not just about me, it's really about all of us. And so I'm going to end with another quote from Rebecca Solnit, and I think that you'll like this because it's a pun, and who doesn't like a pun? Joy doesn't betray, but sustains activism. And when you face a politics that aspires to make you fearful, alienated, and isolated, joy is a fine initial act to insurrection.
Wow, thank you, Joy. That was better than.
It was better than you thought it was going to be?
It was better than how it was better than how you practiced it. It was just because Joy is a real person. I was like, even if you go off script, this is literally what the community is about, and literally this is what's gonna get us the student vote. It's gonna get us your vote. We already have your vote, and it has to be a domino effect, right? A lot of people are just learning that the mayoral election, well, even the state government doesn't even know that Santa Cruz switched to
It's true.
Switched from city council to mayor.
true.
They returned some paperwork telling Joy the city council elects the mayor.
I tried to change our committee name, and they sent it back to me.
So that's all to say that this is up to us, right? A lot of people don't even know, like midterm elections, who votes for midterm elections? It's usually people that vote the most, right? It's called high propensity voters. And you know how we get to high propensity voters? By knocking on doors. Yeah. Literally knocking on doors, having these get-togethers. If you want to host one of these in your home with your neighbors, please let us know. Ballots drop October 10th. And I think, Mr. Crone, how many people vote by mail in Santa Cruz?
Everybody will get a mail ballot.
Right.
From now on.
So
yeah.
that's the law.
But we can expect maybe 45 to 55% of the people.
Right, so half of the election will be decided by mail. Right, so half of us will have to, like, if you want to sign up to walk, we have some literature. If you have a few hours in your day, you want to go on your daily walk, get to know your neighbors. Because Joey is running for mayor, she's going to represent everyone. So we have a lot of walking packets. We have a script. Her flyer is a script. It's so simple. It's basically what we talk about all the time in our kitchen table. The environment, pollution, labor. So please, if you know, sometimes, I don't have the capacity to donate, so I'm working for Joy, right? I'm a student. Another way you can do is volunteer. Please, we value the support financially because it gets us the literature you're gonna be walking with, but we also need boots on the ground because the election is literally in 2 weeks. If you think about it like that. It's in 2 weeks, and a lot of money is looking to buy your city. Let's not let them buy it. Are we gonna let them buy it?
No, no.
Okay, so just to end off, when I say Joy, you say for Santa Cruz. Joy!
For Santa Cruz.
Joy!
For Santa
Now
Cruz.
let's let our neighbors hear it. Joy!
For Santa
Also,
Cruz.
please have a beautiful night. There's some snacks. Get to know Joy, and sign up to volunteer and look at the amazing displays we have
Yes.
going around.
Yes.
Thank you,
Please
everyone.
eat everything so we don't have to clean it up.